That one paper really did affect my confidence, and my scores were around 450. So I literally did give up on that year's NEET. On my NEET day, I was able to score 650 marks. If you're a NEET aspirant, this video is for you. And if you're not a NEET aspirant or you have made it to a medical college, congratulations, you can skip this video, or maybe you could share it with someone who you know is preparing for NEET. For the NEET aspirants, I have created a plan to guide you through your last 60 days of your preparation, which is, by the way, the most important phase of your entire NEET preparation. So stay with me till the end of this video. Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Myself Omar Muhammad. For those of you who are new to this channel, I am a third year medical student studying at Government Medical College, Calicut. In 2019, I gave my NEET in my first attempt, and Alhamdulillah, I was able to score an all India rank of 1019. Before I move into the actual plan, I want to clear some questions which is commonly asked by the NEET aspirants to me always, and I do not want you to spend any more time wasting on these questions and getting distracted. So let's just solve those questions first and then move into the plan. The first question is which book to follow. Well, let me just cut it out straight. You need 5 resources, and if you have these 5 resources, please do not bother about this question anymore. The first one is your NCERT textbooks. Especially in the last 4 to 5 years, 90 to 95% of the questions have come from the NCERT itself. Either direct questions or some questions which is slightly twisted. But the whole point is, the first and the key book which you need to have and which you will have is the NCERT. Second resource you need is a question bank. Now this is a question most students ask, which QBank should I follow? You have to understand a rule that most QBanks have the same content. They put the same questions, they collect data from all the previous year questions, compile them and put it out in the form of a book. The important thing is to make sure that the QBank that you buy has good key answers or good explanation for the questions. You can select Dinesh, Arihant, MTG or any other good publishers out there. All of them actually put out good QBanks. If you're already in a coaching institute and using your coaching material, maybe that's enough. Don't worry too much about the QBank. The third resource is a previous year question paper bank. Now what is the difference between this and the previous QBank is that here you are going to have a set of previous year questions, and that's not just going to be about NEET question papers, it's also IIT question papers, JEE Advanced, JEE Main papers. Now I always recommend students to solve JEE Mains and JEE Advanced question papers as well in the physics and chemistry part. The reason is so that if you can solve those difficult questions, then you will be able to solve the simpler, relatively simpler questions asked in NEET. Fourth resource you need is an OMR sheet. If you haven't yet started using an OMR sheet, you have to start using it from now onwards. You need to realize that on an average 15 to 20 minutes of every question paper is spent simply bubbling out the OMR answers. That is actually a really significant amount of time, considering that NEET is a really time constrained examination. Important that you start using OMR sheet and get used to it. You have to get an OMR bundle, or really simply you could just download it from the Google and print it out. The last resource you need is a test series, which brings to my next frequently asked question. Should I join a crash course or should I join a test series? Well, if you're a Malayali, I have made a video testing Malayalam. I have put the link to that in the description. If you're non-Malayali, what you need to understand is that crash courses do not magically change your outcomes. Crash courses are good for people who do not have any idea about NEET, who are first or who are just starting out on the NEET preparation. They are just getting used to the examination pattern, the MCQ type of questions, which by the way is different from what you study for your boards. So crash courses are only good for those people. If you are a person who is already preparing for NEET for maybe in the past 1 or 2 years, where you have already joined a coaching institute, crash course is not the best option for you. What will actually benefit you is joining an online test series, because in an online test series where you can have full-length mock examinations, that's actually ideal for these last 60 days, so that you actually know where you stand in front of the thousands of students who take those tests. The final question which I get frequently asked is, how many hours should I study in the next 60 days? Well, the truth is there is no number. But what I want from your side is I need your complete attention, complete focus and complete discipline for the next 60 days. There is no more room for distractions and certainly no more excuses in the next 60 days. Having cleared all these frequently asked questions, now we get to the actual plan. So our NEET schedule is actually based on 4 phases. I call the first phase the turtle phase. This is actually inspired from the story of the turtle and the rabbit, where we know that in the end, the turtle, despite being slow, it will win the race. So we begin with our turtle phase, and once our turtle phase is over, we move on to the next phase, which will be a more faster phase, which is our rabbit phase. Once the rabbit phase gets over, we move on to the high speed cheetah phase, and finally we'll have a last lap of revision before our NEET examination. So that's basically an overview of the 4 phases which we are going to cover in the next 60 days. So now let's dissect deep into each of these phases. So we're going to start our turtle phase, and it will extend from the 8th of March all the way up until April 4th, which is approximately 1 month. And during this 1 month, we will be revising the whole 97 chapters one time. Along with that, every day we are going to solve approximately around 100 to 150 MCQs combined in all the subjects. Now I want you to understand that during these days, our primary focus is not solving a lot of questions, not solving a lot of question papers or mock tests. Rather, our focus is to strengthen our weak areas and go deeper into the concepts, because we have planned an intense yet slow paced strategy, and that's why I have called it as the turtle. Now this is important because the number one reason why most people do not see any improvement in their marks despite giving lots of examinations or despite trying to solve a lot of questions is their foundations and basics are not correct. That is the reason why we are going to spend approximately 1/2 of our next 60 days focusing on the concepts, and at the same time we are not leaving the MCQ part completely. That's why I have said that you have to solve around 100 to 150 MCQs combined in all the 3 subjects. Now this phase will be the foundation block for the next 2 phases, because in the next 2 phases, that is in the rabbit phase and the cheetah phase, we are going to be focusing more on the problem solving part, question paper solving, and about analysis and all the other stuff. In these 28 days, I want you to build and make your foundation really strong. Once the turtle phase ends, before moving on into the rabbit phase, we have to test the turtle that we have built, right? And for that purpose, for the next 5 to 6 days, we are going to do completely mock examinations. Every single day, we will solve at least 2 previous year question papers or NEET examinations and analyze it. That's all what we are going to do in the next 5 days. Once that is over, we move on into the next phase, which is the rabbit phase. Unlike the previous phase, here we are going to focus more on the previous year question papers, question paper analysis, and so on. So I want you to do 3 things every single day. Once you can do these 3 things, you can end your studies for that day. First thing is, I want you to revise at least 3 chapters from each subject every single day, which means that every day you have to revise around 9 chapters. Along with that, every day during 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. you have to do 1 question paper, and before the end of the day you have to analyze that question paper and find out 3 things. That is the questions which you have missed, the questions you have got wrong, and the questions you have got correct by simply guessing the answers. You have to find out the reason why those happened, and then just look back into those concepts once again. Once the rabbit phase gets over, we enter into the most intense phase of these last 60 days of preparation, which is perhaps going to be the most intense phase of your entire NEET preparation, and that is the cheetah phase. By the time you reach cheetah phase, you only have 15 days remaining for the NEET examination, which means that you will start to face the heat of the actual NEET examination. During the cheetah phase, you will have to intensify your revision. That is, every day approximately 7 to 8 chapters of revision is done for each subject. Along with that, as I have said, we have to continue doing the previous year question paper and the question paper analysis. I know that the cheetah phase is going to be intense, but this is necessary at this point of time, because once the cheetah phase is over, we have 6 days remaining. That is from May 1st till May 6th, and during the 6 days we are going to do our final lap of revision. Now I did think about some fancy animal name for this, but unfortunately I could not get it. So if you have any name of an animal for this phase, you could mention that in the comments. Anyways, in our final lap of revision, I do not recommend solving any question papers or problem solving. And the reason for that is, from my personal experience, I would like to share a story. Back in 2019, during May 4th, that was the day before my NEET examinations, I decided to complete one final question paper one last time, and my scores were around 450 or 460 something, in that range. That one paper really did affect my confidence while going for the NEET examination, because my final paper was bad. and there is nothing more which I can do in this last moment. I decided like this is my first attempt, so if it doesn't go well I could just repeat it once again and try the next year, that was in 2020. But alhamdulillah, thankfully on my NEET day I was able to score 650 marks. The point of the story is that your scores on your mock examinations and test series might not always reflect on the NEET day. What you have to focus or what you have to gain from these examinations is, firstly you have to check whether you are improving or not, and secondly, if you already have a good score, do not worry much. What you have to understand is, if you are scoring good, you have to try and maintain that consistency. Anyways, in the last 6 days, what I recommend you to do is do one final lap of revision. On day 1, complete grade 11 physics. On day 2, complete grade 12 physics. Do the same on day 3 and day 4 for chemistry, and finally for biology on day 5 and day 6. Go through the entire NCERT once again, go through all the diagrams once again, go through your formula notes, go through the notes which you have created, and go through any MCQs which if you have highlighted to check for the last revision. That would be enough for your last 6 days. And especially during this last lap, you have to focus on your sleep and diet. Make sure that you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. The whole purpose of doing intense revision prior to this last lap is so that you can be more relaxing, focusing more on your diet and sleep during these last 6 days. So that's our plan for the next 60 days of your NEET preparation. If you want to get the 60 days plan along with specialized daily planner designed for you, you can get that by clicking the link in the description. You can also check out for other guides and services for your NEET preparation which can help you in this last 60 days in that same link. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you make it through NEET this year and make it to your dream medical college. May all your efforts find the fruits of success. If you found this video to be helpful, do like, subscribe and share it with your fellow NEET aspirants and help them as well. Thank you for watching and see you soon in the next video.